You know that world that exists entirely inside your own mind? Well, today we are diving deep into that very space, which our source material calls the third dimension of consciousness. And look, this isn't some far out, distant place. It's right here with you right now. It's that constant chatter in your head, that sudden rush of an emotion, that gut feeling you get about someone. It's this invisible yet incredibly powerful world that really we all live in every single day. Okay, so our source material actually gives this internal world a name, the third dimension. It's not a physical place, of course, but it's the main state of awareness for most of us. It's kind of like the default setting, the operating system just running in the background of our lives. So, what's it even made of? To really wrap our heads around this, we've got to understand the forces that are actually shaping this inner world. Because it's not just random noise in there, there's a real structure to it, like a kind of invisible physics. The source uses this really fascinating metaphor, magnetic forces. Just think about that for a second. That literal pull you feel towards something you want, or that feeling of repulsion from something you can't stand. The idea here is that these aren't just figures of speech, they're the actual fabric of this inner dimension. So this is the absolute key. This dimension isn't about the physical chair you're sitting on, or the screen you're looking at. Nope. It's about your feeling about the chair, your thoughts about what's on the screen. It's a world built from the ground up out of our inner reactions to everything. Okay, so if this world is built from our reactions, how does that actually work? How do we get from just a simple, basic sensation all the way to our very sense of self? Well, the source breaks it down into this really interesting four-step process. First, your senses just pick something up, a sight, a sound, whatever. Then step two kicks in like instantly. You judge it. Ooh, I like that song, or ugh, I hate that smell. Then over time, these simple little judgments start to snowball into our major life experiences, our biggest joys and our deepest sorrows. And finally, the sum total of all these likes and dislikes, all these joys and sorrows, that forms what we call our personal ego, our sense of I. And the wild part is, this isn't a one and done thing. This four-step process is running on a loop all day, every single day. And most of the time, we don't even notice it. It's constantly, moment by moment, defining what is real for each of us. So what does it actually feel like to live inside this dimension, this world of constant reaction? Well, if you've ever felt completely swept up by life, I'm guessing this next part is going to sound very, very familiar. The one word that just perfectly defines this dimension is flux. It's a world that thrives on novelty. New ideas, new dramas, new trends, new feelings. It's always moving, always shifting. Stability? Well, that's not really its thing. And the source uses the absolute perfect word to describe this experience: tangled. You know that feeling, right? Of being caught in this web of obligations and arguments and desires and just all the pressures of daily life. You're not just in the world, you feel like you're caught up in it. Want a perfect example of a peak third dimension experience? Think about the last time you were in a really heated argument. Your entire reality just shrinks down to that one moment, that one person, that one feeling. You are completely immersed, totally lost in the flux. And here's the downside. When we're constantly being pulled around by these invisible magnetic forces of our likes and dislikes, it is so easy to feel powerless. We start to feel like life is just happening to us, that we're a victim of bad luck or what other people are doing. But what if you didn't have to be a victim of your own mind? The source suggests this incredibly powerful shift in perspective, a path to finding real stability right in the middle of all that chaos. And it all starts with becoming the watcher. So this key idea, the watcher, it's not about stopping your thoughts or getting rid of your feelings, not at all. It's about learning to just take a step back and observe them as they pass by, without getting all tangled up, without getting swept away. You can see the anger rising, but you don't have to become the anger. So how do we actually do this? The source gives us 4 pretty practical steps. First, just start noticing your instant reactions. That's it. Second, start looking for patterns, your emotional cycles. Do you always get irritable in traffic? Third, once you see those patterns, you can start to consciously choose where you put your focus, your energy. And finally, you shift your whole goal from just reacting to everything to trying to understand why you react the way you do. So ultimately, this is the entire shift we're talking about. You go from being tangled in emotions to watching your mind, from being pulled by change to understanding your cycles, and most importantly, from feeling like a victim to consciously directing your own energy. It's the difference between being a boat tossed around on the waves and being the sailor who actually uses the wind to steer. And that brings us to our final question, doesn't it? If all that mental and emotional energy you spend just automatically reacting to things was suddenly freed up, what would you do with it? What could you build or solve or create if you were the one in the driver's seat of your own mind? Something to think about.